The fastest way to install a 4 terabyte Firecuda 530 heatsink SSD into your PlayStation Slim. This is the video you're going to learn it. Hi guys, this is my YouTube channel. My name is Augustus Agbe. I play a ton of games, a lot of games actually. As you can see, there's a couple of CDs that I have, and I also own some game titles digitally. And so I am, always trying to manage space, but I finally decided to get myself more storage. It's really expensive. It's almost the price of a PlayStation Slim actually, but yeah, I had to do it. So I got myself a 4 terabyte Firecuda heatsink SSD. I got it for 580,000 naira in Nigeria. Okay, I'm not quite sure how much that will be in dollars, maybe around $200 or $150. I'm not quite sure, but I got it in Nigeria from Techers, so you can hit them up, and I'm sure that they will give you more you're looking for with regards a SSD. This is the Firecuda 530 4 terabyte. It's really fast and it meets the recommendations as provided by PlayStation for the SSD you should use if you're going to get yourself more storage. So here is the unboxing of the 4 terabyte Firecuda SSD. Let's get into the installation.
Let's do this.
Now, this is probably the most chaotic video I have ever made. Maybe the most chaotic installation video out there, but it's a video nonetheless. So the first thing I know about doing this is to flip the PlayStation Slim on its side, where the disk drive is facing towards you and the power component is facing away from you. And so you are going to place your hand delicately on the face plate, or is it the case plates they call it, of the PlayStation, and then just prod. There are some components that attach it, that you have to just delicately push or pull, and they will just slide right over. Okay, it's very, very easy, but also very, very tricky as well. Now, the next thing to do obviously would be to unscrew the drive compartment, and this is why I say this installation video was very, very chaotic. Ideally a star or Phillips star screwdriver would work, but in my own case, unfortunately, it didn't work out. Maybe it was too big, maybe it wasn't the right mount. I just do not know, but it didn't work out. So luckily for me, I had to resort to using a knife. Initially, the knife worked out to remove the very first screw, but then things became a little bit more complicated. Now, remember when I said I moved from a screwdriver to a knife? This screwdriver didn't work out. I switched to this knife, and then unfortunately it stopped working for the next screw. So I had to come up with another plan, and that was to go borrow screwdrivers from my colleagues at a different building, and they gave me 2 screwdrivers. Thankfully, I was persistent enough to request for 2, because the very first one I used didn't work out, but eventually this one, much tinier one, was the one needed to unscrew this particular SSD compartment, and I was able to get the screw off so I could set in the 4 terabyte Firecuda SSD heatsink drive. Are you following up? By the way, this is my YouTube channel. My name is Augustus Agbe. Please subscribe. So the first thing you want to do is to get this screw out, get the bolt out as well. You're going to readjust the positioning because the SSD is not as long as you can see here in this compartment. It wouldn't fit completely. So you have to move it to this place here, and this is where you're going to screw it tightly. But first, you need to get the SSD drive now. This Firecuda SSD drive, 4 terabyte. You can get 2 terabyte. That's fine if you want 2 terabyte. 2 terabytes is just fine, but for me, I wanted bigger space, so I went for 4 terabytes. So back to the installation process.
This, I believe it's like this. Yeah, you push it in, and then this goes in here. And you have to scroll this back in.
Now, with the internal SSD firmly secured, it's now time to screw back on the cover plate. So you do this, you place it just the way you met it, put back the screw, and then you have to tightly screw it back in. That is the only way you can be rest assured that whilst you're playing your game, you're not going to wake up one day and realize that there's a problem with your storage space. Once that is firmly in place, the next thing you need to do is to get the faceplate. Now, you have to be very delicate with this process. However, it's a lot easier to slide it back into position than to remove at the initial process or initial stage. So carefully slide it back in and you hear the sound that it has clicked into position. Once you hear the sound, you know you're good to go. And if your PlayStation Slim is always on the vertical position, you can now lift it back to its vertical original position. But if you're more the horizontal kind of guy, then you can flip it on its head and put it back in the original position, which probably for you, it's horizontal. But for me, as you can see, I keep my PlayStation Slim vertical. Once that is done, the next thing you want to do is to grab your PlayStation Slim or PlayStation Pro or whatever and get it back to the power. So plug it back to the power source and then plug back the HDMIs and then plug back your controller. Now, once that is done, the next thing that it would require you to do is to follow the prompts. Follow the prompt, and the first thing you see is that it would require you to format the SSD internal drive. You'd have to format it because, I mean, it's the first process to getting the storage space, set up. So you'd have to format it. And once you're done formatting, then it's an easy ride from here on out. There you go, formatting the drive. It takes literally less than 15 seconds to format the 4TB SSD Firecuda 530 heatsink drive. And once you're done formatting, trust me, you have unlimited, not really unlimited, of course it's capped at 4TB, but what are you going to do with that space? 4TB on your PlayStation Slim that originally you had barely 800 gig to play with. Now you have 4 terabytes, and as you can see clearly here, the read speed is over 6,000 megabytes, and that is way above what PlayStation recommends. PlayStation recommends you must have about 5,000 megabytes as read speed, and this one has 6,000 plus megabytes as read speed. So it is just perfect, extra perfect for you. And just like that, voila, you're good to go. There you have it. So the first thing you would have to do is to sign in back to your PlayStation, input your password, and then you are good to go. You can access your storage space. You would see that the console storage, what was left for me was about 300 gigabytes, and boy, I just got myself the Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I knew there would be not enough space for that, so I had to cop the new SSD internal 4TB drive, and I got it. So this video will show you that now I have changed my installation space or installation storage to the 4TB. So maybe a couple of digital games I would probably download for free or buy via the PlayStation Plus platform would be saved on the console storage. But going forward, any game title that I purchase, a physical game title that I purchase that are of course really big. For example, we have the Red Dead Redemption, the game Ghost of Tsushima, and games like that. They're really big in size. The Call of Duty, for example, those will be stored in the storage space of the internal SSD, which is about 4TB, of course. For those people who do not have the funds to buy 4TB, of course, you can buy 2TB if you come across any of such devices. Remember, it's not just Firecuda. You can get a Seagate or you can get for yourself a Samsung internal SSD. I think it's a lot cheaper. But of course, I recommend the Firecuda heatsink 530 4TB drive. There are others who would also try to use an external hard drive. Keep in mind, the external hard drive will only help you save games, not to play them directly, as opposed to how the internal SSD will help you play games while it's already in the PlayStation. So there you have it. I'm hoping that this video has been very, very explanatory and helpful for you in case you're wondering how to improve or add to your space or install a Firecuda 530 4TB or 2TB internal drive in your PlayStation or PlayStation Slim. My name is Augustus Aigbe. This is my YouTube channel. I encourage you to please subscribe, share this video, and like. I'll do another video on how to install the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 because I clearly believe a ton of people have issues installing that particular game. Till next time, have a good one.